morning. This is Fighting Fear with Kevin Ashworth. I'm Kevin. Happy Monday. I am the co-director of Northwest Anxiety Institute in Portland, Oregon. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I'm trying to do these weekly vlogs to get information out there about anxiety, anxiety treatment, cognitive behavioral therapy, parenting anxious kids, and all that good stuff. So if you haven't seen this before, I appreciate you checking it out. If you have, awesome. Thanks for coming back, and please subscribe to the channel, share it, like it, or however else you can manage those social media things. Today I want to talk about group therapy. At Northwest Anxiety Institute, we offer several different group therapies. We offer a workshop for parents. We do a group therapy for adults that struggle with anxiety. You do a specific OCD group for adults, and we do an anxiety group for teens. So what is the benefit of group therapy? I think initially a lot of people have, so that's one question, and then my other thought is I think a lot of people have somewhat of an adverse reaction to doing group therapy because it's not as personal as individual therapy, of course, and the risk of being vulnerable is much higher. Studies have shown that group therapy is really effective for a lot of different types of psychopathology, particularly anxiety, even social anxiety. The difficulty is, of course, getting people to go. So group's good for a couple of reasons. Let's break those down. One, it's economical. Group therapy is usually significantly less than individual therapy. And so it's awesome to augment your individual therapy or just to be able to establish weekly therapy. If you can't afford individual, which is expensive, then hopefully you can do group. Another benefit. You have a similar or shared experience. And so there's something very powerful about that. The reason that we do a general anxiety group is that everybody in the group doesn't have the same diagnosis, but they get it. They get that they struggle. They get that some days are harder than others. When somebody says that they weren't able to meet up with a friend, or they didn't even go grocery shopping, or they didn't even shower that day, the other members in the group can go, yeah, we've been there. We know what that's like. That validation into your experience from other people that seemingly look just like you is so powerful. It's the reason we're always sharing our information. It's the reason social media is so, one of the reasons I think social media is so popular is because if I type on there a distressing experience and I get validated by a lot of people online, it feels very good. And that validation on social media comes in the form of a heart or a like. But in group therapy, you connect. And once you kind of work through the growing pains of the first few sessions of group therapy, of kind of figuring everybody out, learning to build trust, and really working on yourself to be able to share some personal information, it can be pretty powerful. So there's lots of different kinds of group therapy. There's process-oriented groups, which is where they're really just focused on what is happening in the group, the process of the group. And they look just like people are talking. There's more skills-focused groups, and there's very specific types of groups for specific diagnoses. And those are set up a little bit more structured. And then there's basic skill-based groups, which are often done for children and teenagers, whether it's a social skill group or something like that. So we offer a combination of those things. If you're looking into therapy and money is tight and you haven't considered a group, please do. You have the risk of not liking it, but you have lots to gain if you show up and give it a try. So find out some local groups that you might be interested in. Group therapy is still the same as regular therapy in that it's confidential. It's ran by a psychotherapist that knows what they're doing, and it can be really, really helpful, particularly if you're fighting the struggle with everybody else. So when we do exposure therapies, exposure type interventions, they're challenging. But when you've got other people in the group that are going home, practicing, and coming back, there's also another piece, which is the high level of accountability. And so if everyone kind of commits to working on their anxiety this week and then come back, you want to be able to work on that. So same analogies, like, if you're in a running group or going to the gym or have a trainer or whatever, that accountability piece is so important. So group can be fantastic. If you're interested in any of our groups, check out our website. If you are looking at this from afar, please just look for local groups. You can go to Psychology Today, which probably is the best that I know of, or the most inclusive listings of therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists in your area. So check those out. Thanks so much. Do something today that's scary. Fight fear, find freedom. It doesn't matter how small that is. And then write it down. And then do something tomorrow and then write it down. And before you know it, you're creating these data points that then you can look at and say, when it feels like it's been an awful month, you can look back and go, oh, I actually was able to succeed doing some of these things. So take care. Bye-bye.